Hi friends, this is Sarah from Crafting and Relaxing. Welcome, thank you so much for joining me. Today we're doing an idea from Bonnie and Clive. We're gonna wash some stamps. Okay, I filled the pan with lukewarm water and added probably too much soap based on how much it bubbled, but I don't know. This video is for crafters. It is not for stamp collectors. I have sorted out, the colored items over there. Bonnie said, don't put those in because they will bleed, right? And I am putting stuff face down. Now, this is a bag that I had a note on it that said I went through it at the beach. And what that meant was my mom and I sorted a whole bunch. I made a journal cover, I don't know if you saw it, that had travel stamps on it. I am saving some of the old postmarks. I might want those for junk journaling or embellishments. I don't want this at all. So these are, to me, boring stamps. There's a lot of males sitting there looking stodgy. There's not a lot of flowers. Here's one that maybe I want. So I just think getting them off the papers will help. What I envision is I'm going to make a journal cover, another one that has, I don't want those in there because of the green, that has a layer of stamps that maybe I'm not smitten with, and then I will cover it, like I'll sort of collage on top of it with ones I like better. So I have some Japanese stamps with gorgeous florals. I have a lot of different stuff. And I'll just say, okay, I'll put them in here and make it better. Now I'm trying, these are mostly 90s and before. Actually, this one might just come off. I'm trying to watch for, you know, those new stamps that are stickers. They're literally stickers. In the US, we have stickers. Bonnie was talking about them. She is in Australia. I'm assuming it works the same, like a little bit of water, lukewarm, some dish soap in any country. It probably works fine. And these aren't stamps I love. I'm not doing the Christmas ones right now because I'm sorting as we go. So when I'm done, I'm hoping that everything's pre-sorted and I don't have to go through and pick out the Christmas ones. Some of these are on like postcards and stuff. I definitely want to get those off because they're too thick. So I'm not going to have you watch me do the whole pan or sit the whole time or anything, but I just wanted you to see. And this is sort of inspired, that one just came off, by my craft room tidy up, my spring cleaning in my craft room. These have been sitting around for I don't even know how long. This bag is probably at least 6 months, but they were sitting before that in a cupboard for a very long time. I'm pulling off, I don't know if I can get that. No, I'm pulling off as much of the extra paper as I can because I have a lot of stamps and I don't need that much in. And she kind of poked each one down. I figure they'll sink because I have more and more and more. And my target for tonight is let's address this bag, at least the ones that aren't colored, and get it into a smaller space. It is a weeknight. I thought this would be great to do something and then Christmas, let it dry, right? The postmarks in here are mostly from the 80s, so that's fun. I don't know if you know this, but the 80s were not 20 years ago. So if you think that, you might want to check. Oops. I probably shouldn't have put this green one in here. Let's just put that green one right there for now. Maybe when it dries, it'll just come apart nice. So anyway, they'll dry overnight. They'll be ready to play with this weekend is what I'm working on. Ooh, that one's 1977. Let's be sure and save that one. So if I waited and sat around and watched TV tonight, because, you know, that's what we do during the week sometimes, my hands are getting a little wet, so some of those postmarks are probably smearing, not a problem. But if I waited, they wouldn't be ready to play with this weekend. And it is a crafty weekend, so I'm hoping that I could play with these. I don't know. Maybe they'll sit around for another year, but maybe not. I'm not going to put any of the ones on the manila file folders in there either, just because I'm doing so many. These are already off. That I don't want to tint this paper a weird color. I want to keep it clean. Okay. And she just puts them in. And I haven't watched the end of the video recently. I watched it a while ago and thought, oh, I want to do that. So I think it's like 20 minutes or so. I don't know. Definitely watch her video. As I often say, this is not a tutorial. I'm just bringing you along on my crafty journey. And I may or may not be doing a good job. Well, there's a basketball one. That's fun. Some of these you get so many of. This was a estate sale find that my friend Noni and I picked up, and so it was definitely a male collector. I would have liked more flowers. Okay, I'm going to keep doing this. I have to tell you, I've reached the point where, this is boring now. Well, that one's kind of cool. I don't remember seeing that before. This postmark is so light, I'm not going to keep it. So I have a pile, can you see? Have a pile of trash over here. That's going to go in the trash. Then I have all these old postmarks. I'll probably keep those. I did some collaging of like journal tags with a bunch of those. And it's kind of fun. And some of them, even when they're on the stamp, they're fun to use. But I actually like it better when they're closer together because then you have this big weird spot. It's just aesthetically, it doesn't work as well for my collages, let me tell you. And you can see you get a lot of the same ones. Here's some Christmas. We don't need that. Helen Keller. Okay, that's it. I'll be back. I don't know if I'll come back tonight when I take it apart or if I'll just show you when I make the project. Things to consider. I usually do wet, messy projects right here. That was before I had 2 kittens. So I had to carry my pan full of stamps to the other room. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I did a few of the green ones just because I wanted the stamps and I want to try it. Now I have to go because Zelda has busted into the room that has the pan. And there's a cat hair right there too. So I need to clean up all this stuff. I didn't finish, but I got a lot done. I was taking so long. I was doing such a big batch. I thought they're going to be in there forever. So I set a timer and then I said, okay, can't add anymore. Miss Zelda, are you helping us? Are you a helper? Could you maybe get off the kitchen counters? We're filming in different spots because, well, this is a different sort of project. Now, Bonnie says that you'll just be able to tell when they're ready. Oh, there's nothing on that one. These are just plain stamps floating around, so I see what she's talking about. I got a pair of tongs, but it's really big, and I don't know that that's faster. I mean, really what you need is more hands. And I think this is just a project where I'm going to take it apart as fast as I can. I may have thrown some of the ones that were actual stickers. Like, I don't know when flag stamps started becoming. And because it took me so long to put them all in, you kind of want to get to the bottom because the ones in the bottom are the ones that are all loose. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm probably not going to save as many pieces of paper as Bonnie did from this project. But she is the queen of saving things. Now, you can peel them off. I should just let them wait because then I won't have to worry about tearing the stamp or doing anything. So I should focus on the ones that are loose in the bottom and get them out of the water so they don't sit longer than they need to. Can you see there's a whole bunch floating down there? And then I'm trying to lay them out separately because I'm worried they'll stick together forevermore if I let them dry together. I'm less concerned with the scraps of paper because I don't know if I'm going to keep them all, but I might kind of fluff them and spread them out a little. And good thing I've been cleaning my room and I have all this counter space. I realized that I needed to come in here and lock the cats out. I couldn't do this on my kitchen counter, so just, sort of keep that in mind. It is a sticky project. Not that the glue is sticking to me or anything, just you have these wet stamps and they're trying to cling to you. For the amount of stamps that I want to wash, I don't know exactly when I'll get them all done. I washed these because I don't want a big section of these all together. It didn't dawn on me they were on a manila envelope at the time. I got lucky, I guess. sometimes maybe you have a big cluster and you want to leave them that way, and that's totally fine. This one, there's nothing on. Here we go. I'm trying to sort the stamps and the paper separate as I go, so I don't have to deal with that later. I mean, you could just lay them out side by side if you want to keep absolutely everything. I do have one more towel here too, but I was thinking that I wanted to sort onto the mat if I could, because then I can move the mat somewhere else and deal with the next pan. These are really thick. It was like postcards that I definitely didn't want to use. I think it's nice to have variety, so I'm not saying I'm going to wash every single one of my stamps off the backing and the old postmarks. I mean, I like that to a certain extent, but I do want some variety, and these big, thick postcards, I'm definitely not using those, Bonnie. I'll tell you that right now. And I think it might be important, like, to make sure you know who the stamps are. Times have changed, and there were a couple stamps where I was like, yeah, we don't really use that vocabulary anymore, so not keeping those stamps. Yeah, that one I should have waited a little while, and it also has something weird stuck to it. The stamps, since they're upside down, I mean, maybe next time I wouldn't turn them upside down, because you're looking at the back of the stamps. But I guess that helps them get wet too. You're looking at the back of the stamp, so everything in the pan looks white. And it's a little bit hard to find papers versus stamps. Okay, this is a lot. I got pretty gung-ho for my first round. I have a tendency to do that though, don't I? That's probably why so many people watch me, because I just don't always make the greatest decisions. Like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry. I was going to make dinner, and I thought, I'm going to get those stamps taken care of before I sit down. Do you do that in the evening where you're going strong, but if you sit down to eat your dinner or watch a little TV or snuggle a kitten, it is all over. You're not getting back up and running around and cleaning the house after that, are you? Okay. They do sort of stick to your hands. I don't know if they would re-stick to each other, but I don't want to take that chance. I did a really big pan for my first run, didn't I? I love that the postmarks don't wash off of them. So you just have a nice thin stamp, but you still have the cool variety of the postmarks. And you can see there's just a lot of stamps floating around in the bottom now. I have seen some people that sort them by color, in their stash. Okay, that one's not ready. But I don't know if I'm going to be those people, but it is kind of fun when they go to do a project and they're like, oh, hang on, let me get the red ones or the green ones. I have a lot of flags. Whoa, got a little sloshy. Yeah, try not to move your pan around afterwards. Who knows, maybe it helps them come off faster. Maybe the walk into the craft room from the kitchen was the key to the whole thing. I'm assuming that the ones that are still sticky are because I put them on there later. Because, we probably filmed for a while and then I started the filming. So some of them were probably in there for half an hour. And I think I set the timer for actual 20 minutes because Bonnie said, 20 or 30 minutes. And I figured some of them had been in there at least 10. Now, I'm just going to throw a bunch of these on the counter, these papers. Really, what's the worst that could happen? Oh, the black will come off on my counter. Yep. It's good that I know this stuff. Okay, let's maybe not do a bunch of that. Because if it does, then I'll have to clean it off. I don't need to keep it pristine, but marks on the counter, I think, are really annoying when you're filming, especially on the counter that I film up close on. That's just me. If you do get ink on a surface like your kitchen counter or that kind of thing, rubbing alcohol almost always takes it off. Or if you write notes on bright pink Post-its and then get them wet and they leak on your... Okay, so that, Alexa, stop. That's actually the 20-minute timer. I guess I didn't wait for it all the way. I don't know. I probably got hungry. But you can see we have a ton of stamps now that are, I mean, so far they look good. We'll see how they look when they dry. But they came off their backing. This one's upside down. That's why it doesn't have much color. And this is a really old towel. I don't know what color this towel was originally. Maybe it was a lilac-y blue. So I wouldn't do this on like a brand new towel, and I certainly wouldn't do it on a white one because you're going to have ink of different kinds, and especially if you use colored paper and you want to let the scraps dry on it. Okay, I am going to tell you the collaged bits with all these different Postmark, not this one, we're not keeping that one. They're going to be fun because they have like a spot in the middle where the stamp was. So then you've created a focal point for, I don't know, your flower or your butterfly. The only thing is the edges on a bunch of them are cut with scissors. And you know, I would have torn them. I would have wanted them to be a little bit more fun. Look at how many stamps this is. Ooh, that one's cool because it's just black and white. Looks like it's Lincoln. Oh, you can't see quite into the pant. There you go. All right, I'm just throwing the ones that don't have a stamp on them off to the side. And to some extent, I'm trying not to layer them up, but they aren't stamps. And I assume most of the adhesive in this whole mess of a situation is washed off of things. I probably need another towel over here is what this comes down to, because I don't want to spend a bunch of time fiddling just because I don't have enough towel space. I am going to still put the scraps over here though, just for sorting purposes. I'm imagining, I don't know if it's true, that they'll all just dry nicely and I can throw them into a fun little box. Here's a piece of a stamp right here. I like those. They're like a fun little bit of green when you need something. Now, is this, I don't know, something that you want to do? Maybe not, but it is really something I wanted to try, and I think I'm going to like it. I wanted to be able to use these stamps really densely and not have all the white. This one didn't quite work. It was probably too soon. Let's go ahead and get the floaters out. That one's not it. That one is. Yeah, it might almost be easier if I did them right side up. I'm wondering about that, Bonnie, because the faces would be looking at me, or the flowers, and they would catch my eye for selecting them out and sorting them. But I don't think she sorted her stamps and her scraps separately, because she's going to keep all her scraps, let's be honest. And if you weren't trying to sort as you went, it wouldn't matter. But I am not one of those people who enjoys the craft room organization as much as some of you people do. I want to glue and play and cut and not organize. I just want it done. I love the colors on this stamp. The greens and the blues. Oops, I just stuck it to something else. I'm glad Mr. Crafting and Relaxing isn't home, because some things he makes fun of me for a little bit. Just, you know, there's that look you get sometimes. We're almost down to the end, and then we just have the green ones to go. And there's not too many in the green ones because I didn't want it to get green. Lots and lots of flags. But it is pretty cool because the postmarks are different. Postmarks are at different angles, different amounts of ink. So it gives you more variety than you would have expected. The water is long since cold. I was worried about getting it too hot, but I sort of underestimated how long it would take me to put all the stuff in it. So it is not lukewarm and lovely to put your hands in at this point. Look, we're almost done. Okay, this one, I want to try and get some of that off. There we go. It's better. Now, well, floaters in the water, that's fine. Just get a hold of the stamps. There we go. Oops. As they start to dry out, they're sticking to me. Okay. Now I think we can get these off. I'm not going to try and tear these all apart. That's not my goal. I just want them off their backing. There we go. Some of them I think will still be connected. And let's see how these are. Okay, some of them are already floating around in the pan. I'm going to put these green and blue pieces of paper separate because they'll probably bleed on my other pile. These are not all like floating apart yet, but they are damp enough that I can get them off, and that perfectly meets my needs. I think the more you have, the longer you need to let them soak, because if you are doing a whole bunch, you don't want to take the time to peel each one off, right? So be sure to be patient if you have a whole bunch. These are cute. They're like something about schools and their little schoolhouses. Sticking to me. Now this one is a printing press. There we go. Last one. There we go. Okay, I'm going to turn off the camera, dry my hands on my sweatshirt, and take these pans of water into the other room without spilling them. And I'll probably come in here at some point and fluff these over the scraps, just like flip this pile over so it dries better. But I think all these stamps will dry. It is pouring outside though, so all right. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you're taking time for crafting and relaxing too. Bye-bye.